The Hindus have a religious story, and it goes something like this. The Atman, or the individual soul, is like a drop of water. Water evaporates invisibly and forms clouds. And the clouds blow that water mist all around the earth. Clouds are just big billows of water, very tiny droplets of water, but they're still water. The clouds eventually release their water. The water comes down as droplets of water, as rain, as snow, as hail or ice. Precipitation over the land collects in puddles. Some of the water soaks into the ground. Animals drink the water. Plants and fungi absorb the water. And some of the water flows down into streams, into lakes, and then eventually flows back into the ocean. The oceans are the source of all water on our planet. And in the Hindu religious story, the oceans represent Brahman, the universal soul. So our Unitarian transcendentalist ancestors in faith were fascinated by this Hindu understanding of Brahman and Atman, the universal soul and the individual soul. The concept of a or the Brahman helped them break free from the more limited Christian notion of a God. To make it understandable to their contemporaries, they translated the word Brahman as over-soul. The Unitarian minister and author, the Reverend Ralph Waldo Emerson, first published his essay, The Oversoul, in 1941, and then republished it with some additions a couple of more times in his lifetime. And the Transcendentalists came to believe that the souls of all people are somehow interconnected with each other, as well as interconnected with that universal oversoul. The Hindu story and the Transcendentalist revision talk about the soul, but they might as well be talking about human beings, individuals. We don't need to get stuck on the concept of soul. We, individual humans, are indivisible from our common humanity with each other all across the world. Everything that is unique and special and dear about you is reflected in every single other person around the world, all the billions and billions of people that we have here living on our planet Earth. We cluster ourselves as teams or tribes or nations. Go Spartans! The Chippewa, Michiganders, or Americans. We speak different languages or dialects, Ojibwe, English, or Espanol. And we have created so many different religions. As Unitarian Universalists, we share common religious beliefs with progressive Christianity, with Reform Judaism, with Baha'i, that has its origins in Islam, Hindu Vedanta, where our story came from, and also Mahayana Buddhism. And one such shared religious belief that it seems all the world religions teach in some form is the oneness of humanity in our great and glorious diversity. Now, many religions have creation myths, and our creation myth comes from science. Eons ago, the first land animals, I'm not a science major, I hope I don't get this wrong. Eons ago, the first land animals were able to leave the warm, tidal nursery pools. They crawled up onto dry land when the tidal pools receded and dried out. We are all born from water, not just humans, all life on earth. Together with all species on our planet, we are engulfed in a great interconnected web of life that connects us and each other all together. And we have naturally evolved with a great variety of outward appearances and characteristics, some of which have helped us adapt to the environments where we inhabit this planet. And I know that many Unitarian Universalists share some form of this scientific understanding of human evolution. And yet we live in times where there is a great big lie that is being told about our human family. Last month, I attended a VBS. Do you guys know what a VBS is? Vacation Bible School. Thank you. I attended a vacation Bible school for young and old that was hosted by several of the denominational Christian churches in Brighton. And we used the Episcopal curriculum called Tell Me the Truth About Racism. And here is that version of the creation story. In the beginning, before there was anything, there was love. God so much loved the world that God made a big world with lots of people, and God loved each and every single one of them and called each one by their own unique name. But the people didn't love all with the same love that God loved them, the way God dreamed they would. Instead, many were afraid of their differences and believed a lie that some were created better than others. Did you catch that big lie? The great lie is that some are created better than others. And so we live in a country that is living out that lie today. Americans are being attacked for being who they are. Women and their reproductive rights, trans people and their health care, Black, Indigenous, Asian, Latinx people, immigrants, queers. Who would have thought that chalk would be such a provoking issue? Boaters in the Caribbean. These are all examples of that great lie that some are created better than others, and that lie has dire consequences on people's lives. Our shared Unitarian Universalist values counter that lie. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, with love, and with compassion. That is one of our fundamental beliefs. Now, our United States also counters that lie. We have a motto. This country has a motto, E pluribus unum, out of many one. It appears on the Great Seal of the United States. It's on US coinage. And that motto was coined by a committee of 3 men from the Continental Congress. The 3 were Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. So what were the religious backgrounds of these three folks? Franklin was a Christian deist. Jefferson was a Christian deist who called himself a Unitarian and sometimes attended Unitarian churches. And John Adams was a Unitarian. So the phrase, yes, a bunch of our founding fathers, I know it's a patriarchal system back then, were Unitarians. So the phrase, e pluribus unum, out of many one, I would say it reflects fundamental Unitarian convictions about humanity, that we are one great human family whose destiny is to find ways of living together with each other in love and compassion on this planet Earth, sharing all of its resources so that everyone has what they need and none suffers from want. Because there is plenty of food and water to go around on our planet home. It just doesn't always get to the individuals who need it. We believe that we are one people, one humanity, all earthlings. We form one great human family. The drops of water that evaporate from the oceans, that float through the clouds, that pour out on the earth, that flow across the land back to rivers and lakes and oceans. These are the same drops of water that flow through our veins. These are the same drops of water that bathed us in our mother's wombs. These are the same drops of water that fed us from our mother's breasts. Is that not proof enough that we are one human family? As Unitarian Universalists, we honor the interdependent web of all existence. And later today, at the end of service, we're going to be forming a circle to represent that interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in that web of life. So today, in a few moments, we're about to celebrate our annual water communion ritual. Our ritual today counters that great lie that some are better than others. Our ritual celebrates the interconnectedness of all life on earth, and it celebrates the diversity of our shared humanity. I think Jen sort of gave the Reader's Digest version of my sermon, and we didn't talk about what she was going to do or what I was going to do today. And I complimented her on her way out for stealing my thunder. Our water communion ritual today also symbolizes our community here in Brighton, our CUUB community Unitarian Universalists in Brighton. I'm wearing my swag, a bunch of people are. We bring together all of our interests and passions and skills and talents, and we come together into this community, and it's in this community that we practice a new way of being with each other. We practice creating beloved community, where in spite of everything that goes on, all the fun stuff that happens, all the sorrows of life that we face, all the disagreements that we encounter, we are still resolved to be together with each other in love and in covenant and in right relationship. And mishaps happen, foibles happen. We do not give up on this community. We do not give up on our relationships with each other. We seek to mend what may have gone wrong, and by that to strengthen that beloved community that we're making ourselves. But we're not just making this community so that we're a happy-go-lucky people here on Hippie Hill on Old US 23. We're doing this because we want to take this notion of beloved community out beyond the walls of our congregation, as our covenant says, and bring it to the whole wide world. We're taking that microcosm of the beloved community that we have here at CUUB, and we're bringing it to Brighton, or Howell, or Heartland, or Fowlerville, or wherever you may live. We're bringing it to Livingston County. We're bringing it to the United States, which is Estados Unidos in Spanish, and Gichimukumanaki in Ojibwe. And from there, we bring it to the whole wide world. So my question to you is, can we create a world, can we live in a world where our human family, with all of its races and languages and divisions and histories and cultures and foods and traditions, where we all can coexist with each other somehow, with love binding us together? So in a moment, you're going to be coming forward. You're going to be bringing water that you brought from your travels, from your homes, from your natural springs, maybe from polluted rivers someplace. Or if you forgot, water from our CUUB kitchen tap. My water comes from the wells at the RV campground in up north by Orleans, Michigan, where I go. With these waters, we remember the great gift of life on our blue-green planet home. We remember the waters of our community that bind our lives together, near and far, in the depths of the oceans, in lakes and in rivers, and land, in the air, in outer space. We remember all the plants, the flora, all the animals, the fauna, all the fungi that share life on this earth. We gather in gratitude and solidarity with the earth and with each other to celebrate this communion of the one great human family. So let us begin. Let's open our hymnals to the reading on 529. It's called The Stream of Life by the Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore. 529. Is it on the screen? It is on the screen. Thank you. The same stream of, please join me together, the same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day, runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is this same life that shoots in through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and death, in ebb and in flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment.